Well, hello there. This is Pretty Girl Loves Trap content. I appreciate you guys for clicking. Okay, so let's get into this recap / review, okay? So this is Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2, Episode 2, y'all. A lot of twos up in there. And this episode is called Selfless Acts with a question mark, okay? So y'all, it is so much going on. Like my head was spinning. Like it's so many moving parts. And I'm like, okay, can y'all break this down? Like y'all making me feel real slow up in here, okay? Because it's so many, like every character got so much going on. And I'm like, wait, stop, slow down, Pete, pump your brakes. Like, like, are y'all rushing this? Like what's going on? But I definitely feel that this episode was a lot better. It felt hella long for some reason, but it was only like 50 something minutes. But y'all, it was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. I'm stressed out. I may need a cigarette. I don't smoke. I have asthma actually. So I don't know how this is going to work out for my blood pressure, y'all. But yeah, let's get into this. So the episode begins with Tariq, okay? He's having a nightmare, and I believe it's from when he killed Ghost, okay? I think he has on the same outfit, and he's, trying to go into the little fire pit, like Tasha taught him, like, hey, you got to burn all the evidence, and he's looking at the phone that he uses to communicate with Tasha, but it's also the phone he used to communicate with Jabari, which is still pissing me off because I'm like, Tariq, you could have had another burner phone, okay? You could have had a mommy burner phone, and you could have, a burner phone to talk with Jabari. Like, you need like 18 burner phones, actually, for all the shit you got going on. But I digress. So we get an appearance from Kane, okay, the ghost of Kane. He's acting as the devil on his shoulder, or a father figure, if you will, because he's giving, Tariq some, advice like, hey, you need to throw away that phone. You need to let your mom go. You a big man, right? You grown and he's in these streets, right? So I'm gonna need you to act grown. So Tariq is, his nightmares interrupted because the cops, they banging at the door, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Why are these cops here? Like, dang, y'all found this information quick, okay? I'm thinking like Tariq about to get locked up. They won't let him out. But no, y'all, the cops don't tell us nothing. They swoop Tariq off, and I'm like, Lord, like, what is going on? So y'all, we see Kane and little Guap. I don't know why I think about guacamole every time I see her here, little Guap name. Like, I don't know why I don't even eat guacamole. But anywho, so they're going out, coming out the bodega, the grocery store. Sorry, not the grocery store, but the corner store. And Guap he has some peanut chews, y'all. And I think maybe some like, was it Swisher Sweets? Y'all, I don't smoke weed, so I don't know. I think it's, the little, why am I coming with a loss for terms, but the paraphernalia, what have you, to smoke the weed, make the blunt, whatever. And so he's asking social media, I guess he's on live or Instagram, asking for everyone's opinions on what he should eat first. And I'm like, dude, you gonna have munchies, so you gotta eat the peanut chews later, okay? But peanut chews is like my number one kid snack in the corner store, y'all. Like, when I saw the peanut chews, I low-key got excited. Like, like for a while, I didn't know if they still made them until I saw them in the grocery store where I live, maybe like several years ago. And I was like, oh, they still make these. I thought it was just one of those candies that just phased out. But yeah, y'all, peanut chews, if y'all don't know about them, y'all definitely are sleeping, okay? And so Kane is kind of, telling Lil Guap, like, dang, you got to tell social media everything was going on. And I'm, yes, Kane, you got a little sense. And I know this is going to be Lil Guap's downfall. He's always on social media. Last season, he was always on social media, always on live. And it's actually not far-fetched to what these dumb little Negroes is doing now in real life. Like, we see that, these gangster dudes or so-called little gangster dudes are just telling them all their business on Facebook and Instagram, and it's getting them locked up. And I'm not mad. Like, all y'all need to be on World's Dumbest Criminals because y'all don't know the code. Like, it's a whole nother code out here in these streets. It's not really even a code anymore. Like, kids is wilding and they stupid and they just they all need some ass kicking. But I'ma digress, y'all. So Kane, he gets a text by Mecca. So he tells Lil Guap, yo, I gotta go. And Lil Guap kind of looking like, where? Like, I want to tag along too. Like he's Meech's little brother. And so he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So Lil Guap, he has that little suspenseful, look like how they do in a soap opera. So we're going to see what happens next. Okay. So now we're seeing Tate and Stern, they're having a little, meeting in the office, if you will. And so Stern, I don't know, I'm happy to see Stern. I was wondering if we were to see him again, because we remember Tariq got Course Correct funded by Stern's, I think it was his husband, his little boy toy. So I was curious, why we don't see him again. But, because I know, they still have a financial relationship possibly. So, but Tariq got so much going on, child. We probably don't have time to film him, okay? So Stern was like, I need something, okay? My affiliates at Stansfield, they are having some publicity issues. So I think you going there can kind of help, die down the situation. Tate was like, yeah, I need some help too, because I'm trying to take Sweeney's seat. Do you have any information? So of course, in a small world, it's a small world after all, because, Stern tells Tate like, hey, yeah, the Westons, they kind of pretty much built half of Stansfield's campus. So yeah, the Westons and Sweeney, they're real tight. So yeah, this could be your way in. And he also says, go and log in to the to the website of the school, the Canonical Studies professor department, see what's going on. So he sees Professor Sexaholic's picture. And, of course, Sweeney knows Tate is a little, low key a holic himself. I'm not going to say a sexaholic, but he just, he got his own little vices. And I'm just like, Yeah, this is going to be interesting with Tate all up in the mix, okay? So we're at the precinct, y'all. And apparently, Big Mama got a DWI. And I'm like, Big Mama, come on. We don't do this. So apparently she had Raina in the car. No, Lord, not Raina. Jazz in the car. And, she hit a parked car. And I'm like, that's like the worst. But I'm glad she didn't kill or hit anybody else. That would have been extra worse. And of course, Sax is there. Tariq was like, what you doing here? He was like, hey, Davis, I'm working with him now. And yeah, he's telling him, Tariq, what's going on. And so he was like, I can let you in to see Big Mama for a minute, before they process her. So, Tariq tells him thank you, like begrudgingly. Like he did not want to tell Sax thank you. But yeah, Tariq and Big Mama had a talk, and Big Mama is tired, okay? She is over it. She's tired. Her daughter gone, her son-in-law gone, like her lifestyle is gone. Rain is gone, her grandbaby, So she is just over it, and she was like, it's okay. I need a drink or two. I can't take it. I'm over it. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of being a mama. I don't raise my kids. You know how grandmothers be like, I don't raise my kids. I don't need to raise yours. But I'm like, Big Mama, come on, don't get me wrong. I know we are strong Black women's, okay? And we have a lot of pressure, okay? And we are just used to dealing with ish. But, it is realistic. So Big Mama, to have an escape. Some people gamble. Some people do other things. So, I could see Big Mama getting a drink or two, but Big Mama, we can't be no alcoholic. And, we question why, like, dang, why Big Mama got to be an alcoholic? Like, we got so many toxic people, in, these shows, these star shows. And Courtney Kemp in her, I guess, live, she was explaining like, hey, Ghost was an alcoholic and Big Mama was an alcoholic. She referenced season 1, which I didn't catch, but I haven't watched season 1, of course, in several years, but she said they made reference to it. And it's one of those things where Tasha married, a toxic trait that she was used to, which was alcoholism. So I'm like, okay, I guess, girl, if you're telling me that. But I would love to see Big Mama, just be, I don't want to say normal, but, just without, those toxic traits. But this is what they're giving y'all, so we just going to go with it. But long story short, Sax is like, okay, yeah, your little moment is cool and all, but yeah, she about to go to a foster home because she can't return back to Big Mama, and yet the dorm room is not going to work out. So yeah, she got to go. And I'm like, they couldn't get her. Like Tariq could have been like, hey, I got money to go into, get a hotel room for a couple of days. Like that should be good enough. Like I felt like there was a way for Yas to stay with Tariq. But Tariq got so much going on, he wouldn't be able to stay with Jazz in the hotel room for 2 whole days. Like Tariq just be ripping and running. Every little time he get a text message, he got to be going someplace else. So, he wouldn't have been a good fit because she would have ended up being in the room by herself. But yeah, it's an all bad situation overall. So y'all, we get, Kane opening up and he's going into this penthouse that, opens up with the elevator. I'm like, oh, this is reminiscent of the original penthouse. So it kind of felt good to see some black luxury, y'all. Like, I just love luxury. And the layout was kind of a little bit similar to Ghost and Tasha's penthouse. So I was like, okay, some familiarity. Girl, get yourself together. It was familiar, y'all. Familiar. I don't know why I can't say that word today. I'm getting pissed with myself. But yeah, it was familiar. So Kane says, he's looking around and he sees a little Asian chef cooking up. And, out of nowhere, he sees Mecca, and Mecca was like, just popping up like Ghost, like he is a ghost. I'm like, are you Ghost 2.0? What's going on? Okay. And so Kane was like, hey, you can't be popping up on me. But Mecca was like, yo, bro, you need to start being aware of your surroundings because, if you want to work with me, you got to up your game. So Mecca was like, yeah, you was questioning me a lot last time. Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, what's going on? What is your story? So Kane just started telling Mecca all his business. Like, he's a producer or something, trying to like do an autobiography, a biopic or something on Kane. I'm like, Kane, you don't even know this man. You telling him about your sisters, your sister, your brother, your mama. Like, I'm like, bro. Bro, you are talking way too much. This is not Geraldo Rivera or Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer. Like, you're talking too goddamn much. This is not a talk show. Like, calm down. Like, what kind of gangsters are these? Come on, make it make sense. Whew, Lord. But anywho, we see Mecca looking at the cameras. And so he notices his little guacamole. And he was like, how did he find out where I'm here? Like, where do I live? And so Kane was like, well, he must have followed me. And Mecca was like, hey, this goes to my point. You need to be looking everywhere, okay? Your surroundings are very important, my sir. So, of course, Guap comes in on social media, on live. I'm like, bro, he got about 3 more scenes to be on live and social media because he needs to go. He's done. He is a liability. You're, blowing up Mecca's spot, blowing up Kane's spot, blowing up your spot, just blowing up everywhere. And I'm like, dude, what's your problem? Like, y'all just make my skin crawl. So long story short, Mecca ends up breaking like all of the fingers on his hand, on Mecca's little Guap's hand. And he may have left the thumb, y'all. I don't know. But he told Kane, like, go on, take, a little guacamole and get out my house. And I'm like, y'all let him live? Oh, okay. I guess this is going to work. But yeah, little Guap is definitely, his days and his hours are numbered. Okay. We're going to start seeing GoFundMes for his funeral services shortly. So Tariq is at Davis McLean's office, aka Method Man. And yeah, he's pretty much talking about his grandmother's case. And Sax walks in and say, hey, I was able to pull some pull some strings, y'all. I just got finished eating some pancakes, so I got some syrup all up in my my mouth, y'all. TMI, whatever. So, he was like, I was able to reduce the charge. So Big Mama, she can stay home until, she gets, goes back to the court, whatever. And so, Sax, he walks in, he got this, like, who-framed Roger Rabbit, like, pinstripe suit with this red tie. And I'm just like, oh, my God, Sax, just go back to your regular, like, ASUA, whatever you was, assistant attorney, director, whatever. Like, come on, bro. Like, this new look is not working for me, okay? But I guess, this is what they're trying to convey, you know what I'm saying? Slick, sly, lawyer, what have you. So, Davis, he thanks Sax for their help. And of course, Sax leaves the office and Tariq. And Davis talking to Tariq was like, I don't trust him, bruh. I don't trust him. And Davis was like, I don't trust him too. You know what I'm saying? So we on the same page. So Tariq actually leaves and Sax comes back in the office. He was like, yeah, bruh, Tariq may be wrapped up in another murder. You know what I'm saying? So, and of course, Method Man, he was like, cha-ching, like, more money, more money, more money. Y'all, if y'all not over 35, y'all may not know that reference. But yeah, y'all, it is getting very interesting with this whole situation, okay? And I forgot to mention too, Tariq also asked, you know what I'm saying, Dave was like, hey, I need you to find my sister. And Dave was like, it's out of my reach, out of my jurisdiction. That's family court stuff. I don't got nothing to do with that. But if you have some money and someone with a little influence, you know what I'm saying, you may be able to get your sister. And of course, they're referencing influence in here. We see Tate because that's what his show is supposed to be called, Influence. I'm like, okay, they trying to be cute with the wording and whatnot. So Tate, y'all, he is at Stansfield, okay? And they're like in the little professor area where their offices are. And, Carrie is kind of like, introducing the situation to him, like, hey, this will be your office. Reporters are still doing, investigating in there. Not reporters, but cops. So, make yourself at home or what have you. And of course, Tate laid it on thick, like just flirting his behind off. And I'm like, Tate, you ain't got to do all that, bro. You ain't got to do all that. Just, start working with her for the next couple of weeks. And she's going to come to you, bruh. She is going to come to you. She is going to need some comforting, okay? So you don't even have to do all that laying it on thick, okay? It ain't even necessary with Officer Sexaholic, okay? And of course, she is not paying him any attention. She's paying him dust, like she is not feeling Tate at all. So y'all, we see Detective doing too damn much, aka Kevin. He rolls up on Carrie's sponsor's house, okay? And I'm like, oh, she got a cute little brownstone, what have you. And so, he was explaining, who he is, introducing himself. And he was, asking her, like, what do you know about Carrie? Okay, she was like, that is confidential information. He was like, no, 12-step programs and sponsorships, all that. That, has nothing to do with anything that has to be confidential, okay? So y'all's relationship, long story short, it can be, brought up in the courts or what have you. And so she was hesitant. He was like, are you guys doing criminal activity? And like, bruh. Like, Carrie must broke his heart. Like, his achy, breaky ass heart. Okay, because he is hurt. Like, Carrie, what'd you do? Sleep with his brother, his daddy, his wife? Like, what's going on? Like, this man is scorned. Like, he thinks nothing of Carrie. Like, I understand you hurt, bruh, but to really just think she's like out here killing folk. Like, did she do something to you? Did she have a fatal attraction thing with you? I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, he really ain't feeling Carrie, okay? So y'all, we at the press conference, okay? Zeke is entering the draft, okay? And he's doing a good job, convincing reporters or whatnot. They're not really asking him tough questions, but we see Monet and Diana there in the corner looking all devilish and whatnot. Just not like homely, welcoming family members. Like, it's just really annoying. So after the press conference, Zeke, he's still in the same room with Monet, and he was like, I don't know, auntie, like, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think this is good decision. And I'm like, can y'all have this conversation in another room? Like, yeah, these boom and mic people, they can pick up y'all conversation, I'm just saying, the reporters are like literally like 4 feet away from them having this conversation. And of course, Monet, she ain't trying to hear it. She's like, bruh, I'm gonna need you to enter the draft. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, stop crying, Zeke. So back at the dorm room, Brayden is arguing with his brother, I believe, Trace, about pledging Kappa, which is the fraternity. And of course, Brayden, he ain't going for that. He is trying to rebel against the family. He's not trying to follow tradition. And yeah, it's definitely something that Brayden is not feeling at all. But we must keep in mind, if we go back last episode when they was at the little, white family reunion thingy, the infamous book that Tariq could not see, Trace was like, no, that's only for Kappa's eyes only. So we're going to now, start seeing, Tariq getting closer and closer to that book, therefore, closer and closer to the evidence, okay? A small part of me was like, dang, is Tariq gonna have to play as you get to this book? That would be interesting, but Brayden may be the way for the book to be in Tariq's hands. So yeah, y'all, this is going to be interesting. But in this conversation they have also Tariq and Brayden's talking about the product, and Brayden was like, yo, what I'm saying, the product is in my parents' garage uptown. Tariq, he's not feeling that idea, but he has a lot going on, so he says, hey, you can handle the product alone at this point. And Brayden, he's kind of happy. He was like, oh, okay, I'm getting promoted a little bit, whatnot. So he's happy, but I don't have a good feeling about that. Brayden, he's kind of new to this drug game. I'm just saying. Tariq, you too, but Brayden is new. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. We're at the bar, which is Monet's front, okay? And she's talking to the repairman about the windows because, it got shot up. So, she's saying, hey, I need these windows repaired. I think she's trying to get bulletproof windows or what have you. And so Diana, she's like, hey, I self-taught myself this course, but I think I really should be in school. And I'm really pissed off because Monet is just not trying to hear Diana going to school. Diana was like, hey, it should be a good thing for us, for me to go in school, learn accounting. That way I can go ahead and manage Zeke's books, because I did some research and a lot of these players be going broke. So I think it would be most fitting for me to, join, school and, get my degree and whatnot. And Monet was like, you just trying to go up there for Tariq and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Monet, it's like, you doing too much. Like, you have 2 children that wants to go to school. And accounting and all those type of, financial industries, like, they make good money. Even if you don't follow Zeke to the NBA, like, they have, some viable options here. Oh my God, Monet, you are like the worst mother. Like, what is going on? She is offering a way out. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, an accountant or a CPA is probably not going to make as much money as you guys are, but you guys can, save up that money and open up a real business or legit business, or keep the bar and open up the bar for real that you guys are using as a front. But they're just using it to wash their money. But I'm like, bro, like, this is so backwards, y'all. Okay, I'm just gonna ride this out. Okay, and so in the midst of this conversation, we hear New Edition, Can You Stand the Rain? And I'm like, okay, I'm all for the nostalgia, okay? And so, she's looking at the window. She sees this red sports car singing this song. And I'm like, okay, is somebody doing a drive-by? Because the last time we see a car at the window, it was Tommy, okay? And right before that, or right after that was, the Connect. So I'm like, we ain't doing too good with the record when it comes to cars passing by this bar, okay? But, Diana was like, why you all getting mushy about this song? Oh, yeah, it's your Pop's anniversary. So Monet, she's talking about their relationship and whatnot. And I'm like, whatever. So we're at the classroom and Tariq sees that Tate is one of his professors now. And I'm like, yeah, Tariq, it's a small world. I know what you're thinking. So, he's being introduced to the class. And of course, light-skinned Keisha was like, politicians about to teach us about ethics. Like, this is hella interesting and contradictory. This is the new world, y'all. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you are right. Because this is definitely an oxymoron, okay? So, y'all, we see Drew and Zeke, they're in the practice court or whatever. And Zeke's trying to, offer some assistance to Drew. He was like, hey, this may be a form of therapy with your arm. Start doing some exercises with the ball. I'm like, okay, this is cute. I love the family camaraderie and whatnot. And so, Zeke is still salty, okay? Because he is telling, Drew is salty because he's telling Zeke all of the information. He's in the conversation talking about, with you going to NBA, you could be away from Tariq and course correct. And Zeke was like, oh, that's Tariq thing, it's blowing up, blah, 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 blah. He got that on lock. I'm like, Zeke don't need to know nothing. Nothing. Zeke is dumb. Like, he can't have access to any of these details, okay? And I think, matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, Monet told Drew not to tell Zeke anything about it. So yeah, this is gonna blow up, okay? And yeah, Drew also tells Zeke about Monet's plan about, following him. So Zeke, he's not happy because he's also telling Drew, like, hey, I don't want to leave Stansfield. I'm gonna miss it. Like, the NBA is exciting and all, but I'm gonna really miss this school. And so in the midst of this, his agent comes in and gives his hot card to Zeke. It was a like little short, little stubby white man. And I don't know if you guys watched The Last Dance. It was a documentary of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. But their owner, or I don't know if it was the owner or manager, but he pretty much did the players dirty in some aspect. And he looked just like this actor. And so it was kind of funny, all right? And so we're back at the classroom. And so at the end, Tariq and Tate, they're talking. So, of course, Tariq was like, hey, I think you may possibly have some influence in the court system, the family court system specifically. I need some help with my sister because if you guys remember, I believe Tate had something to do with Tasha's daycare getting hemmed up. And I believe he got Dre's daughter out of the system. He did something for Dre regarding his daughter, y'all. So Tate, he got influence for real. And so Tate was like, I don't know, bruh. But of course, Tate, he always thinking, So he was like, hey, matter of fact, do you know any Westons? And Tariq was like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, yeah, Tariq, tell him that's your roommate, whatever. But I guess Tariq trying to reserve some details. But so they was about to, work out the little transaction, what have you. And so lo and behold, detective doing too much pulls Tariq. He's like, Tariq, I need to talk to you. And so Tate was like, I don't want no parts of that. So yeah, he starts low-key interrogating Tariq, just being nice about it. Hey, do you know anything about Jabari? I was told that he was questioning you the day before he disappeared, blah, blah, blah. So detective doing too much is like really egging on Carrie having something to do with it. So Tariq, he following his lead. So I'm like, okay, Tariq, I don't know about this. Like, but I guess he got to get the heat off him. So y'all, we see Effie and she is having this awkward, just cringy sex scene with this girl who doesn't even look developed enough to be in college. Like, I felt real, like, pedophile-ish. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be watching this, stars. Like, bruh, like, this is real. Like, I don't care about the lesbianism. I'm just talking about the girl who just ain't got no boobs and she looking 12. Like, I really feel disrespected. Like, why would you put this in front of my eyes? But she gets a knock at the door, and it was Brady. He's delivering the drugs. I'm like, hey, what happened to Effie's Connect? Like, did I miss something here? You guys drop down in the comments and let me know. But, he delivers the drugs. They have a little back and forth, and he's in his car. And I'm like, oh, Lord, he's about to get pulled over. Yeah, I'm getting cringy every time he's going to be in his car. I hope you guys know that, right? I'm going to be stressed out. But he's on the phone with his brother. His brother's like, hey, I need some supplies. But he gets a call from Effie. Effie's like, yo, bro, these drugs are stepped on, okay? You need to come back. He was like, stepped on? What you talking about? So he does this crazy ass U-turn. I'm like, bro, you about to get pulled over. We can't be doing no dumb shit in this car. So on the way back, Brayden calls Tariq to see what's going on. And then we see Tariq, he's knocking on Monet and them's door. And he's asking Diana for a ride, I guess to see Effie. And when he tells her where he needs to go, she's like, bro, that's 3 hours. Like, Monet's going to kill me. I'm like, dang, like Monet got y'all on a little leash. Like, bro, like you 18, like girl. And I'm like, this is another reason why Tariq needs a car. Like, I understand maybe all the money he made was to go towards Tasha's lawyer. I get that. But we need something. We need a vehicle. We need something. Big Mama ain't got no car. Like, oh my God, this is so stressful. Tariq, you got too much going on not to have a vehicle. Like a Camry or something just cost effective. Like, come on, bruh. So, she ends up, taking him. And yeah, Brayden, he goes back to where Effie is. And Effie, she's beefing with the people she sold product to. And it becomes this whole big fight scene between Effie and, the girl that she sold product to. And then there's another dude there. And he ends up getting it with Brayden. Brayden was starting to get his behind whipped. Effie was beating some behind, okay? So yeah, it was a little cute little fight scene. And so we're back at Effie's dorm room, and I like this little, I don't know what it is, but I like this scene. Like, it has, you know what I'm saying, Brayden, Tariq, Effie, and Diana. I'm like, oh, this is a cute little, college like crew. Like, I'm kind of feeling this dynamic, okay? And so of course when Effie sees Diana, she's like, who is this? But I thought you wasn't feeling Tariq no more. You told Brayden you done with Tariq. You still got little feelings, girl. Come on now. Keep it real. But, you know what I'm saying, they all discuss like, hey, how did this happen, okay? Because we don't sell no bad product, okay? So, of course, Brayden's like, hey, who's going to tell Monet? And so when he says Monet, I think, did Tariq say Monet? Oh, yeah, no. Brayden says Monet's name. Effie start looking crazy. Diana start looking at Brayden and Tariq crazy. So it was a little layered situation because I don't know if Diana knew that Brayden knew about Monet, but she also was like, dang, I gotta tell Monet. Like, like it was a lot going on. So she goes back to her house and she tells Monet, hey, I was with Tariq and we got fake product on our hands. And then Monet starts, tasting the brick. And she was like, oh, this is fake for real. She was like, dang, Rico, like he effed me over. And she just laughed it off. So Drew and Diana was like, what's wrong with her? Like, she normally would trip in this type of situation. But I'm like, Monet, you can't possibly think your connect did this because that would mess him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't think Monet is thinking thinking properly. But yeah, the children are confused, okay? So we see the next day, I guess, on the porch, you know what I'm saying, feeling some type of way. We see Drew, he's stalking Everett's page. I'm like, oh my God, this dude is lovesick, okay? And so Kane pulls up. He was like, I apologize for everything. Let's go on a field trip. So he ends up taking Drew to the gun range. And he was like, what are we here for, okay? He was like, hey, if I'm not around, I need somebody to protect the family, okay? So, you know what I'm saying, that's why we're here. But of course, it's, he's frustrated because his regular hand ain't working. So he's telling, like, Drew, like, yo, bro, like, you can shoot with your left hand. It's okay, bro. You just got to practice some control, okay? And so, of course, Drew, he's just giving up all the information to everybody. Kane's talking too much. Like, y'all are talking too much in general, okay? But he tells Kane, like, hey, we need to find a connect quick. So, of course, we see Kane. He's got all types of thoughts brewing in his head. So we see Zeke. He pulls up at Carrie's house, okay? And I'm like, Carrie, what is this, a Saturday? Is this a school day? Like, Carrie, you always home in the daytime. Like, you don't, like, grade no papers or anything at the office. Like, that's neither here nor there, okay? But, yeah, Zeke ends up, but college, don't get me wrong, college can end early. When I was in college, like, it was days where I was done with class at, like, 1 o'clock, so I get it. But, yeah, he ends up breaking up with Carrie. He was like, hey, I'm about to be in the NBA soon, and they're going to be watching me like a hawk, so I got to be careful, okay? But before then, Carrie, she had just like airy, like this aura about her, you know what I'm saying? She was pretty much saying like, hey, I think we should talk about some things, but she seemed happy. So they never addressed that. He just left right after he broke up with her. So I'm like, Carrie, what was you trying to tell Zeke? Like, I hope you ain't pregnant or nothing, girl. Like, what you had to tell him? Like, you got a lot of stress going on in your life, but you seem automatically happy when you about to have this conversation with Zeke. I don't know, y'all, but I'm wondering, what was that about? Okay. So, y'all, Zeke leaves the apartment. Of course, we see somebody stalking. We see Greg Knox 2.0, okay? We see Officer doing too damn much. Detective Kevin. So, of course, he goes and approach Carrie about it or whatever. Now, obviously, he done been to her house before because he's talking about, hey, you moved the couch and all these details. So, I'm like, Carrie, like, when was you messing with this man, okay? Like, you obviously had this apartment for a minute, like, what is the timeline here, okay? But he's pretty much threatening her like, hey, I think you got something to do with this murder. And she was like, no, bro, like, I need to see my lawyer because you are trying to pin too much on me, okay? But yeah, y'all, like, we need some glue because this achy, breaky hort. His achy, breaky hort is broken, okay? Glue this man back up because he is still hurt, okay? So Drew is trying to pretty much convince Monet to forgive Kane, and she's like, nah, bro, I'm good on that. And back at the office, Carrie's office, Tariq comes in and he was like, I know you said we can talk, and I wasn't ready, but I'm ready now. I would like to talk to get some things off of my chest, okay? And I'm like, we know, Tariq has a plan as always, but of course they get interrupted by his other new professor, Tate. And so Tate is pissed off because the police is still in his office using it for an interrogation room. And he also asks Carrie, well, he tells her, like, Tariq was questioned as well. And do you know what that was about? And she was like, don't worry about that. Tariq is a good kid. And I'm like, girl. But she was kind of pissed off with Tate. And she was like, don't interrupt me again. And he was like, duly noted. So yeah, I think this is one of those lines where she's going to need some interrupting, and Tate's going to be like, nah, she told me not to interrupt her again. So yeah, those words are going to kind of bite her in the ass in the future. I just know it, right? So we at this little conjugal visit, okay? It's their anniversary. Hey, it's their anniversary. But yeah, y'all, it ain't romantic or nothing, okay? Because, Monet and, whatever her husband name is, okay? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But, I'm saying they're, just finishing up. And, of course, she delivered the cigarettes and all the honey buns or whatever. And, yeah, she also had her honey buns. And, they were just talking about, their relationship. But she was like, I need more, okay? I need more. This ain't working out, bruh. And I'm like, dang, boo, like, you really expect, like, undying loyalty for life? You expect her to not move on? Like, really? Like, that's a lot to ask, y'all. Would y'all whole job hurt people down if they got life? Like, would that work out? I mean, I know there was Remy and Papoose, but Remy had, life. She had about 7 years or so. But yeah, that's a lot to ask, y'all. Like, I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, they also talk about, the Connect no longer being available. And she mentioned like, hey, Kane has new Connect, but I ain't effing with it. And he was like, no, we need to use that Connect, okay? Because it's your fault. So, of course, she's a little scared. So, we probably going to see her needing that Connect and using it. So, of course, we see Monet goes to Kane's, boo thing house. And she pretty much welcomes him back to the family or whatever. And I thought she was going to give him more of a stern talking to. But, yeah, Monet was just being soft in that moment. But she needs Kane at the same time. So, yeah, y'all, this is, girl, we going to see how this welcoming party happens, okay? So, y'all, we see this interesting situation where Diana goes to Effie's dorm room, okay? She done took that 3-hour ride back to Effie's college, Yale, what have you. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how realistic this is, but Effie's dorm room, like, it's a low-key, like, studio apartment. Like, it's real cute. I'm like, this how y'all doing in Yale? Like, y'all let me know. But Diana was like, yo, bro, teach me how to go to school and move weight. I'm like, bruh. But yeah, Effie was like, are you even smart? And Diana was like, I'm smart enough. I'm like, girl, if this is a way for you to sell yourself, this ain't working. But yeah, Effie was like, before we do anything, we need to figure out what happened with this product situation, okay? So yeah, who has the most to gain from effing up your product? And I was like, I took 3 seconds. I was like, Kane. Like, I felt like I was on Family Feud. I'm trying to press the button. It was Kane. And so, of course, next scene, we see Kane. And he has this product that he stole from Braden. He brought it to Mecca. Mecca was like, I don't need this ish. Like, come on, bruh. And so, he was like, how did you come up with this, these drugs? And Kane, long story short, just, explains how he got it, which it makes sense from how he got it. He said he got it from this garage, which is Braden's, most likely Braden's car. But I'm like, did he follow Braden? Like, was this a deleted scene? Like, I wish I'd seen a little more, but I guess, what I'm saying, we're supposed to glue things together, or we may see some scenes in the future that will prove this or whatever. But yeah, Kane was like, yeah, bro, I have a wonderful organization that will love your services. And it's AKA called my family. So, Mecca was like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be doing, business with your family. You stole from your family. Was like, no, I needed to make sure they understood that they needed me. I helped them. Okay. They just didn't know it. I was like, Kane, that's low key brilliant. I'm not going to lie. That was a good plan. I'm definitely going to need some more brilliancy coming from you in the future. Okay. Because you be stressing me to F out. So we're back at the college dance field, and we're in the courtyard, and y'all, it's a whole clusterfuck of college activities. Okay, we see Chase, is that his name? Braden's brother. You know what I'm saying? He's pledging Braden and his fellow line brothers. If you don't know much Greek term. But yeah, he's pledging the new class, okay? I'm in a sorority, so I'm very familiar about things as such as these, okay? So yeah, they're pretty much embarrassing these boys and making them get naked, because we know these fraternities, they tend to go a little too far when it comes to the hazing and whatnot. Like, I remember when I was in school, like, it was wild. Like, some of the Caucasian fraternities would just have like some random like stunts, and I believe like one person died when they was doing some hazing when I was in college. Like, it was crazy, y'all. So yeah, Chase, I'm sure he's going to have them go through a lot. So, you know what I'm saying? They have a little fire pit going, and Tariq ends up throwing the SIM card and the phone in the fire. That's the phone he used to contact his mom, and the one he used to communicate with Jabari. So I'm like, is the battery still in there? But it doesn't matter because the SIM card is gone. So I guess he didn't decide to frame Professor, but when the professor went back into her drawer, the camera panned into the drawer, the same drawer that Tariq opened when she left him in her office. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably missing something. I hope I'm not, but yeah, I'm not completely 100% sure where they're going to take this storyline, okay? So, Tariq is walking through, and he sees Lauren. Lauren was like, hey, you don't really attend these events. And, he see all the drunk people. He was like, yeah, I mean, you see why. So she ends up taking her to this little secret spot, which is like the roof of one of the buildings. And they're making out. They're getting it on. Her lip gloss is popping. Like, Lauren is very beautiful. And so, of course, in the midst of their makeout session, Tariq gets a phone call. It's Diana. She was like, hey, bro, we got some new bricks coming in, so I'm going to need you to hide it in a, safe spot. And, of course, Diana, she mentioned, like, nobody knew about that spot but her and her brother, right? And because her brother used to go to the school. And so Lauren kind of spazzed out a little bit on Tariq. She was like, bro, like, every time we trying to get close, you get interrupted. And I'm like, Lauren, like, stop being so thirsty. But Lauren, let me ask you, Lauren, like, are you spiritual? Do you believe in Jesus? Because if you do, you will probably understand that these are signs, girl. These are neon signs telling you, hell no, get out, run for cover. Like, I'm a firm believer, like, God gives you signs, and the fact that every time, this is maybe at least the 5th time that you try to get it on with Tariq, something happens. He gets a call, he leaves, like, he's saving you, girl. But no, you're going to keep going back. And you say you done, girl, but I don't know. But girl, believe the signs, okay? So y'all, the Tejadas, they having a family dinner, and Kane pops up, and Diana was like, what are you doing here? So of course, Monet explains, like, hey, he decided to do something nice for the family, so he got us a new connect. So Diana, I could tell she just getting smarter and smarter, like, in her face, she was just like, I don't trust this. So she asked Drew, because Kane, he's in another room fixing his plate. So she asked Drew, like, hey, like, who did Kane come to you first about the connect, or did you tell him about the connect? And Drew was like, nah, he came to me first. So Diana, she was like peeping game, like, yeah, I think my brother up to some BS. And Kane comes back and, he's happy to be with the family. And so Diana, she's playing cute and cool, eating her food. She was like, yeah, I'm starting to pick up the pieces. I'm like, yes, Diana, come on, girl. Come on, get smart. I'm feeling this, okay? So y'all, we see lawyer method man, Davis McLean. He pops up at Carrie's house, okay? I'm like, Carrie, like, I'm gonna need you to move, girl. Like, too many people know where you stay. Like, who was like this? I think it was it Angela, where everybody knew where Angela lived? Like, things don't happen well when people's address is out there in these streets, y'all. Like, I know you got a nice apartment, girl, but I'm gonna need you to move, okay? So Method Man was like, hey, I heard you in some trouble, possibly dealing with a murder. Like, I'm here to help. And she was like, oh, I don't see your wedding ring. So, you really trying to help? So she not feeling Method Man, and she pretty much don't let him in. But I'm like, girl, you should at least see what the man had to say. Like, you ain't had to give up the drawers. You could always say no, but just get the information. The man obviously got some information that you don't know about. Like, girl, why are you tripping? Come on, let him in, girl, let him in. Like, he trying. And we saw Tate trying to kind of give her information. We see Method Man trying to give her information, and she's pretty much kind of closed off right now. And yeah, this ain't looking good. It's really reminding me of Angela and just everybody who ends up dying because they want to be hard-headed. So y'all, we see Zeke. He is banging this white girl, and she is very transparent. She's like, "Oh, are you going to the Knicks? Are you going to the Bulls? Are you going to the Lakers? Let me know. Do what you need to do. Shoot my club up so I can get pregnant and be set for life." You know how these women's be. Okay, I was a little triggered. Okay, so I started thinking about Kobe Bryant's situation, and that was my favorite player, y'all. And you know what happened with that, but I'm gonna let that go. Okay, so the cops interrupt their sex session, but while he was having sex with this girl, Carrie was calling him. So Carrie, he just broke up with you. Why do you feel the need to still call Zeke again? Like, what's going on here? Because before he came into Carrie's office, she was looking at her phone at Zeke's number. So I'm like, Carrie, you better not be pregnant, girl. Like, what else can still want her to connect with Zeke? Like, I'm trying to figure that out, y'all. But yeah, the cops come in and they, pretty much tell Zeke that they need to talk to him. And I'm pretty sure it's because he was messing with Carrie. And the white girl, she was like, don't do nothing to him. Don't protect, I need to protect my investment and whatnot. And so she starts recording. I don't think it was on social media. I think it was just on her, her video recorder. So yeah, she's recording the interaction. But of course, something tells me that it's going to get out and mess up his chances even more for going into the draft. But he goes with the cop, and we see, Junior's restaurant. They're famous for the cheesecakes, okay? Yeah, I ain't had Junior's cheesecake in a minute. My father-in-law bought me my last piece. I remember one year my mom, I don't live in New York State anymore, but my mom had the cheesecake delivered to my job one year, like a whole cheesecake from Junior's. It was like the most ultimate gesture. Like they ship cheesecakes, they put in a little freezer pack or whatever, but it was just so cute. Yeah, I know it was like hella expensive. I think it was like $60, y'all. But yeah, that was so cute. But Junior's cheesecake is famous, one of those staples in New York. If y'all watch Making the Band with Diddy, he made the bandmates walk to Junior's to get him a slice of cheesecake. But yeah, it's famous. They have one in Brooklyn. They have one in Times Square. But this location don't seem like, I don't know. It has to be real, but I don't know. Maybe Junior's house is another location that just opened up or whatever. But anywho, we see Mecca there. We see the red car there that always was playing New Edition throughout the episode. And we see Monet looking like she saw a ghost. So apparently her and Mecca had some dealings. Okay, I'm pretty sure he was probably an old fling before she met her husband, because that was their cold song, Can You Stand the Rain? If that was 1988. And that's possibly, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are saying that's possibly, could be Kane's father. I don't know. That sounds like a good explanation. But lo and behold, they have a relationship. He didn't necessarily tell Monet that he is their new connect. But, she denies kind of, having any rekindling with him, because, she said it's been too long. Like, I can't. But she called him Dante. I like that. But yeah, y'all, like, he gives her his card. I'm like, what is on your card? Like, international drug dealer? Like, what exactly what's your cover? Like, I need to know, how was that card, like, you know what I'm saying, worded? Like, I want to know. But she does seem like she has some type of connection, like some warm and fuzzy feeling towards this man. So y'all, Mary may not be tense too much longer, okay? Because she's been kind of light in this episode. Like, I think, just thinking of him all warm and fuzzies and whatnot. Like, we don't know, y'all, but this was a really good episode. It was a lot going on, y'all. Like, my head was like spinning. I'm like, okay, this one got this going on. How is that going to connect to this? Oh, I see this plan forming. I see that plan forming. I guess so many things, but Power is good with that. They always tie up everything in a nice, pretty little bow, and everything ends up working out in some type of way. That's one of the things about Power. But how did you guys feel about this episode? I'm sorry for this long review, but so much went on. I know I even missed a lot of little details that I wanted to, put in, but that would have been extra 10, 15 minutes if I really wanted to break it down. But y'all, if you guys are still listening, thank you so much. Please share this video, like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel if you are not already subscribed. And I will see you guys for the next episode. And I hope you guys have a blessed week, okay? See you later. Smooches.